Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and once again we're in online racing, in street racing. This time we're in S1 class with the Hennessey Camaro Exorcist. Now nothing has changed in terms of the power, the torque or the engine size or anything like that, so still 1,000 horsepower and the like, but it's lighter, it's got better tyres, and it's generally just a better handling vehicle. As you can see by the stats, the brakes are great, the handling is great, the launch is fairly decent, and the top speed although it hasn't changed, is still really quick at 217 miles an hour. So yeah, hopefully the additional handling upgrades will hopefully mean that we can make the most of that 1,000 horsepower and 883 pounds-feet of torque with its 6.2 litre supercharged V8 engine, which is obviously a lot of power. Sure, you can put more in it. Even with the standard engine, I think you can put in another 200 odd horsepower, and obviously you can swap engines in as well. But it's already got plenty of that power, and yeah, at the end of the day, it now weighs a lot less, at 3,008 pounds, which is 850 pounds less than originally. So yeah, that lack of weight is really going to make a difference in terms of being able to use that power. Not just in terms of better acceleration, but also in terms of the handling being better as well. So yeah, no idea how it's going to perform though, considering we're up against like supercars. But you never know. The car upon which this is based is still a really good handling car, so hopefully we've upgraded it again to meet those expectations. Despite being rear-wheel drive with all that power, this car does really handle it nicely. Especially now that we've got slick tyres that are wider front and rear. It's a lot grippier than we were. Obviously we have less weight to deal with. The race weight reduction that we gave the car. At the end of the day, 1,000 horsepower is hardly a small amount even for S1 class racing, so with that lack of weight and the grippier tyres, this car absolutely flies. It still sounds great as well with that supercharged whine going on over the top. Oh dear, I have improved the brakes, although you won't think it from that. Just need to be a bit more vicious with using them, basically. Corvette went wide. They outbraked themselves like I did. Which means for our first race with this car we're going to get a second place, which I'm pleased with, especially given, you know, a lot of cars on these online races typically upgrade to all-wheel drive to get that extra launch and also deal with the extra power that they give the car. So the fact that we're a rear-wheel drive 1,000 horsepower car with not much less in the way of torque is really rather impressive that it's able to handle as well as it does. So yeah, massively impressed with that. And yeah, we also have race brakes on this car. If you saw the stat there at the beginning with a 10 out of 10. But yeah, outside of the tyres being wider and slick, and the race weight reduction and the race brakes, that's all the upgrades I've given this car. No extra. So yeah, but then again, I didn't have much in the way of PI to play with. I only had about, I think, 43 or something like that. So yeah, once you give it the slick tyres and the race weight reduction, you really don't have much else that you can really do to the car. And yeah, I did want to prioritise handling with this vehicle because at the end of the day I still feel it has enough power. Like I said at the beginning though, you can definitely put more in it and it would be probably an even quicker car in a straight line, but I don't think it would be as controllable. And yeah, I want that controllability while still being able to have a fair decent amount of power, and that's what this car gives you when you upgrade the handling only. So yeah. So 0 to 60, it can now do it in 1.997 seconds, which is about just over 0.1 of a second quicker than originally, and 0 to 100 now in 5.584 seconds, which is just under half a second quicker than originally as well. So not massively improved in terms of acceleration, just enough to make it reasonably competitive, I feel. Ferrari all over the place again. It doesn't like the streets all that much, you know, with the curves and the like. Just seem to bounce around a fair bit. And again, I don't think I could upgrade the suspension on this car, so nothing that could be done about that. Really deep then to avoid that AI car that's been hit. And my concentrating face on. The fact that we're reasonably keeping up with a Ferrari race car is fairly impressive, especially since I guarantee that's lighter than we are. It'll certainly be better for the corners. We do have a savage turn of speed when we get going. Catchy monkey reel him in a little bit. Well, that was pretty quick for us at the end there, but not quite enough, quick enough to be able to reel in the Ferrari enough. But yeah, still, the second place again is fairly decent, especially given the competition had increased over before. LFA was not that far behind us, just under a second behind. But still, to only be, you know, less than half a second behind a Ferrari race car is, yeah, reasonably good as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, the top speed hasn't changed on this car, 217 miles an hour, as there is no extra power or any torque, and I haven't reduced any of the aero. Well, neither have I increased it though either, so yeah, the top speed hasn't decreased either. But yeah, still 270 miles an hour is still fairly quick, although guarantee that there are cars out there that cannot be upgraded into this class that can be even quicker than that. But I think it'll it's going to be very rare that you're going to be getting up to more than 200 miles an hour on any of these races. I can only think of one where you're on the highway for a reasonable amount of time, where you potentially get up to more than 200, but the likelihood of getting more than 217 is highly unlikely as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that top speed is more than good enough to hold off most of these cars. And some of these race cars, like that Ferrari, for instance, I very much doubt that has a 200 mile an hour plus top speed, so that kind of circuit wouldn't do them in much favours, quite frankly. Do struggle off the line, as you might expect for the amount of power that we've got. But a launch off the line is only part of the race, so it's not too much of a biggie. Speed. Yeah, that glorious V10 from that Lexus though. It's just not powerful enough to keep ahead of us, I feel. He backed out there wisely. We don't have the sharpest of gearboxes in this. I guarantee that Lexus has a far quicker upshift than we do. That does not matter when you don't quite have the handling, and we did have the handling in that final corner. So yeah, another second place there. So yeah. It's a fairly good car. It's not going to be the most competitive, you know, going up against a race car like the Ferrari, which just, yeah, really does focus on handling, is not going to be as easy to catch up with like other cars. But still, it's a glorious car to drive. Really do enjoy it. It's easy to get as well. You only have to do the icons of Speed Horizon story. It doesn't take very long. It's fun in its own right, and you get this car as a reward. So yeah, sorry this video is a little bit shorter than normal, but these races are really rather quite quick. But I'm going to the cinema in about an hour to see the new Talk to Me film, so yeah, I don't really have much time to do a mega long video today. But still, regardless, do get this car if you've not got it already. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.